Yeah, killer, time to bring the bass dirt. Yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Wait, shut up. Hey, on my mama.
Good morning. What's good in the hood, guys? My name is Flex. You guys know Brian, and today we have Matt Amon, Executive Director of Huddle Cowork.
Hey guys, what up?
What's up? So, me and Matt actually kind of go way back, even to high school.
Yeah, it's high
Oh,
school.
see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So just so that everyone knows, like we're pretty much in the same age group.
We're the same generation, bro.
Yeah, for real.
We're not gonna tell you what generation, but we're the same generation.
We witnessed the transition from no social media to
we're
this
Xennials.
all.
Did you guys hear about that new sub kind of generation called the Xennials?
Uh-uh.
Xennials are who were born between 1970, I think 8 and 83 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Because we experienced
Yeah, because
both.
we're both. In
Yeah,
both
so
worlds.
we know what it's like to play outside. We know what dial-up is. We know like how long it took to get onto AOL when it first started.
We knew corded phones.
Yeah,
the long cord where it
call
stretched
waiting.
two
Yeah,
moves
Star
away.
69, all that.
Remember
Party
that
line.
group? Yeah, that group talk. There used to be a group talk.
We didn't
like,
have cell phones until we were in
cell phones.
college.
Pagers was a thing. in
Yeah,
high school.
pager code, all of that.
That's beyond my time.
So we
What is that? Yeah, we had.
so we used to communicate with numbers. Like
Yeah.
we knew how to spell words with numbers.
Yeah, we
and that
still
was
do
the
it
pager
today.
days.
And I can read it and be like,
Yep.
okay, you can pick it up. All right, 143. All right.
So I mean, it's crazy how me and Matt, like, we knew each other in high school, and then we didn't kick it at all for like 15 years, and then
all of a sudden we're just
moved
back in this realm
back
again.
into this.
And your wife
into-
too, Alexis. Like we all went to school together.
Yeah,
like,
and it's crazy how we still lived in Stockton all our lives,
yeah.
grew apart,
Yeah.
but then now we're back together, and
That's right.
like, and on a good note though,
Yeah.
because you're the executive director of Huddle, and I became part of Huddle about 2 years ago.
Yeah, you started with Huddle before I started.
Yeah.
Right? You were kind of in the mix.
Yeah, I was just really new to it, and I met Jasmine Leak through the entrepreneur class that I took at Delta with Miss Villarreal.
Yeah.
And then she said that Jasmine came in as a guest speaker and said that they're having a pitch competition. I was like, what's a pitch competition?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's like Shark Tank. I'm like, what? And then
Yeah.
so I had my business going on at that time, getting started. And then one thing led to another. I became part of Huddle, and then Jasmine left, and then you came in,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I know, man.
I was like,
and then
hey, what's up?
yeah. So that's how we reconnected,
Yeah.
and then now
And the rest is
now you're running
history.
game.
Yeah.
You're running game.
And then look at you. You run a game in this office though. Like,
For anybody who doesn't know, Hood app works right out of the Huddle. So
Yeah.
that's where this connect has gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a great journey, you know, and one of the things that I love to talk about is like how I even like got into this realm. I call this realm because this is whatever's happening, whatever's happened these past 2 years has been super different than what's been happening before that. You know,
Right.
like I was trying to live this life that I was trying to control. Like I wanted to, I always had this vision of how I thought my life should be, you know, until I finally was like, you know what, Lord, I give up. You know, like I relinquish all control. Like I'm just gonna live my life through you and then see where you take me. And He's kind of brought me to this table in front of you guys.
Just different opportunities started opening.
Yeah, so so I run Huddle. It's a good gig. You know, I love it to death. When I got offered the position, it was a crazy situation. My sister Coley, she was already working for the company at that time, and we just happened to go bowling one day. You know, for all the April birthdays. Zach's birthday was during that time. His late best friend Tim Egan was his birthday was around that time, and my sister's birthday was around that time too. So we go bowling, go to West Lane Bowl, like which is a pack bowl, and Bruce was supposed to go, my sister's husband, but he didn't want to go, so she asked me to tag along. So I go and I meet everybody, and they asked me about my life. I told them, they asked me what I was doing. I was like, I'm not doing anything right now. You know, like I was a bail bondsman for a little while, all pro bail bonds, and before that I was working at Healed, and it was during that time I was just like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, you know, and I saw what 10 Space was doing, and
Around what age was this?
this was what,
Just recently?
2 years ago. Like I was
Okay.
35, 36,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And so Josiah and Megan, Cora, they were asking me like, I said, what are you doing right now? Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm a yes man right now. I'm up to doing anything. I would love to be part of the 10 Space umbrella, and I love what you guys are doing. So if you guys can fit me somewhere, that would be cool. And this happened on a Tuesday, and I got a call Saturday night, from them saying, hey Matt, we want you to come in Monday morning. So we can interview you for a position. We think we found a great spot for you. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see what's up. I'm just saying yes to everything. Monday morning, I go in, I interview with them, I give them my life story, what I've been doing, and they basically were like, we stopped your Instagram, we see everything you've done in your life, and we love it. You have a great aesthetic. I mean, you post, when you do post, you post with heart. Like you're Stocktonian, you can tell you love this. It's genuine. I'm not just trying to put up a fake persona of myself on social media. It's me. And they're like, we would love for you to run Huddle. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, what's Huddle?
Yeah, I didn't have any idea.
I had no clue what co-working spaces were. I'd never heard of WeWork, nothing. So I was like, okay, like, can I think about it? They're like, yeah, sure. So I go home, I do research, and I find out what WeWork is, I find out what Huddle does in the community, and I was like, okay, let's try this out. I don't know what it is, but if they trust me with this, I'm just gonna go with it, and I'm gonna trust them. So they bring me back in, and they offer me the position, I accept, and then a week later I start. My first day at Huddle was the same day that Bernie Sanders came to Stockton, which was 2 years ago yesterday. So my 2-year anniversary with Huddle was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh,
Happy
how fortunate.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool too because it's the 10th episode and we're for 10 states.
Yeah, I was
10 episodes, lots of energy.
Yeah, I love it. So I get into, I start my first day, and I remember just doing, there was no one in the space,
And this was at the other
Huddle 1.0,
right.
So 235, which is now going to be Reality Church soon. But I remember just starting my first day, and I walk around the space, there's no art on the walls, there's a couple people taking up some offices. I'm just like, this is literally a blank canvas. I can do whatever I want with this place, right? So every single day since then, I'm just making laps, trying to meet as many people as possible, and then I had the access to the Instagram, and I went off, and I just posted. I wanted everyone to know about this, because I thought it was dope, and if I thought it was dope, I'm sure other people would think it would be dope as well. So I just posted about it. I created this hype, and to the point where I went on social media and started following everybody so that people would be like, oh, who's following me? Oh, it's Huddle? Oh, that's downtown Stockton? There's been so many occasions where people were walking by and they opened the door like, this place started following me on social media, so I just wanted to come and check it out real quick. Come on in, and I come on in, and I was like, I gotcha. And then they become members, like, okay, I didn't know I needed this kind of place,
Right.
And so it got to the point where we filled up that space, we were having art shows there, we were having mixers there, and there was this new life in there. It was kind of dope because we were directly connected to Trail. Trail had their coffee shop on the other side at that time, so it was a great synergy and energy of people coming in and out of the space. So it was a dope, like, just time for that. And then as the momentum's growing with Huddle, I'm asked to sit down at the table again, and they're like, hey Matt, so we're gonna move. I was like, okay, well, where are we gonna move to? So you see that big building over there on the corner? Yeah, we're gonna do 3 floors of Huddle now. I'm like, wait, so we're gonna triple in size? They're like, yeah. So have fun filling that up. I'm like, okay, let's try it out. And so I would get people in, and I'd like talk about the space. Like, oh, we're about to move soon. Like, I had people sign in, and people were like,
I remember that.
Like, do you guys want to check it out? They're like, yeah. I go, I have access. You guys want to check it out? And just go, and I tour people of this space when it was just bare bones and just walls open, like wires everywhere. I'm sure it was super unsafe.
Yeah,
but like,
you gave me a tour before it was even fixed
and
up.
you're one of the first people I gave a tour to.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I was able to like sell this place out before it even opened. So like, yeah, we were at full capacity. We've been at full capacity since we've been open for in this space for the past year and a half. Yeah. And it's been a wild ride. So it's now being in this space and being an executive director of this monster that's in the heart of our city. I would never ever thought I'd ever be in this position. We're literally in the heart of Stockton.
Yeah,
on the corner of Salentine and Weber.
That's why I wanted to stay here. Like I didn't want to move. Like there's other options out there, but I feel like
It's location.
well, not only that, it's the community downtown.
It's the
Like it's a different feel.
Yeah.
Like only people that work down here know that
what's
feeling.
up,
You know what I'm saying?
And it's
so,
kind of our job to kind of like invite people down here and kind of like shut down all the negative things that people are saying about downtown.
Exactly.
Because that's been just as much of a job as trying to get people to come down here.
Right.
You know, so there's people who come and they inquire about it, and it's because they've done research, you know, and they're like, I saw this online, I want to come check it out. You know, that's easy because it just falls on your lap. Because when they fall on your lap, it's like, I gotcha, you know, but then there's the people that's like, oh, downtown's this, downtown's that, or you're from Stockton, I'm like, you know, it used to be like that. I go pump your brakes, I go, this is what's going on right now, like A, B, C, D, 1 through 10, like this is what's going on now, and 10 times out of 10, like I can see when people's like perception of downtown changes, because they'd be like, no, I'm downtown, all of a sudden they're just like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I
spots
gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. My nephew goes to school right downstairs, and I think it's insane to me because he doesn't think twice about walking down the street. They have to walk a block to their cafeteria, walk to the library, walk to the park, whatever. And he doesn't think about it. And I'm like, that's different because when I was a kid and I had to walk down the street, I was always like with no
Put your
shoulder.
key in your hand.
I still do it, you know.
Wolverine.
So it's different, you know. But that's just how we grew up thinking about downtown. But now I see. Looking at it differently. It's a different energy now.
You're absolutely right. And to piggyback off of that, I always like walk around during the time the kids are like either out of school or they're like going from class to class. And I always look at that generation because that generation that is going to be the ones that kind of gas up our city the most.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be the ones where like, I grew up in all of this.
I was like downtown Stockton, I love it.
I remember when that building
Before it was cracking.
Yeah, before it was I was 5 years old. You know, like you know nothing about my preschool years. You know.
Really though.
So actually there might be a lot of people out there that don't know exactly what Huddle is.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is still kind of new,
It's super
and
new.
people still don't know that it exists.
I
Yeah.
do
And so
wanna go
what
off of that too.
is Huddle?
I don't know.
Because you know,
I mean, it's cowork.
you were saying something about how like you would just follow people or whatever, and then that would attract them into your business. And I would say I was probably one of those because I remember I saw it and I was like, I don't know anything about them, and that you got me for real because I was like going through. I did all my research and I was like, but even going through like the Instagram, going through the website, I still couldn't figure out exactly what Huddle was until Hood app, and I'm here every day now, so now I get it. But like you said, a lot of people don't know.
basically like when you put it out there, if you've never heard of a co-working space, like it's really vague. You know, but if you're from like a big metropolitan city where there's co-working spaces on every corner, like a Starbucks, there's people who come to this space that find it just because they Google co-working spaces in Stockton. You know, because they're familiar with the concept.
Right.
But Huddle is a co-working space. There's a lot of different things that happen within these walls. Ultimately, it's a space for people to focus, get work done, get inspired. You know, if they don't want to be at home because it's so hard to work at home because the kitchen's like right down the hallway, or they're tired of going to a Starbucks or something. Or your
office
or
is
your
your
office.
bedroom.
Yeah, your office is your
Yeah.
bedroom. So you want to be in a space where you're around like-minded individuals, but you don't have that pressure of going to an actual office.
Right,
You're actually
right.
going to some place cool and refreshing. So, so not only do we have office spaces here for people who are startups like Hood, or people who want to separate the home work life, or people who are independent contractors and they want to have a space where they meet with their field team or something like that. You know, so it's a very, very versatile space. It's a space where you can literally do anything work related, art related, you know, community related.
Right.
It's just a space for community. And whatever you think you need to do, Huddle can probably accommodate that. You know, yeah, because we have office spaces for people who want to have their own private offices. We have an open co-working space for people to come and just be able to sit and just get some work done for as long as they need to. There's a modular space that we can have presentations in. We can have mixers there. People have parties here, art shows, all that jazz. We have conference rooms for people to be able to hold meetings here and be able to just rent out a conference room if they don't want to bring them to a restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that. And usually there's a price for that as well. So anything that you think you would need in order to be organized or get a committee together or just work out of a dope space that's other than your home or any kind of place that's usually typical where you get work done, you pull up a laptop or something, this is the space for you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Big shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there. that are trying to get just shit started. You know what I mean? And
it's tough.
And it is tough, but if you do want to commit, I would say get a membership at Huddle. And then you can actually just pick the brains of all these other people that are just maybe a few steps ahead of you. And they can just kind of show you the ropes all the way up to the point where you're talking to like Heavy Crown, where they start off with the small space. It was a new business, and now they're just super busy. You know, and it's because of the network that we have here downtown.
Yeah, the community is what makes this place. You know, if we all didn't talk to each other, we didn't interact, this place would fail. 100%. You know, anyone who's part of Huddle has grown because not only the community that's in here, but because of the momentum that the space has built. You know, people know that you're with Huddle, like, oh, where's your office? Oh, it's downtown at Huddle. Like, oh wow, okay, all right, cool. You must be doing things. You know, you know, and that's a great positive connotation right there. You know, but I will go back to the community. We all have each other's back. I love seeing people collab with each other on different projects. You know, I love when I go into someone's office and I see someone else sitting there that's on a different floor. I'm like, beautiful, beautiful. Keep mingling.
I love walking by people's space and just be like, hey, hi guys, how's it going?
Yeah, everyone's
I love
super
seeing
nice.
Aaron, A1+1.
Yeah, there's so many different entities in the building. Like, and when you look at different co-working spaces, some of the smaller ones, because we're considered small, they're more of a niche, you know. So those are like one type of businesses, or like it's just all makers, or it's all tech. Or here we have a little bit of everything. You know, and I think that kind of helps each other out because you can cross promote for each other and all that. And I love seeing when you guys promote for each other. And I'm just like, this is it.
That's all love.
This is all love. You know, you walk into the building, you feel it. You know, and you can feel that sense of community. You can feel that sense of everyone's genuine and they just want to help each other out.
Even just walking into the elevator, everybody's like, good morning, like, what floor? Oh, what do you do? That's cool. Like, you're on that floor and that's what you do.
And I wish every entity, like every space was like that. And when we talk about that, everyone's trying to say like that starts with me, you know, because I'm the executive director.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, you can blame me for it. I'm not going to take credit for it, you know, but like I always make sure I put out love and all the vibes all the time. But I know whatever mood that I'm in is going to trickle down to everybody else.
Right.
You know, so whatever is going on outside of these walls and stuff, I have to check it at the door. You know, because I respond. And I have to make sure that I'm setting the precedent. So if I come in all draggy and stuff like that, that's going to set the tone for the whole entire day. Or, for example, I just came back from Yosemite. I was gone for 4 days. I came back and it was a shit show. You know, I was like, what's going on here? Like the vibes are all off. Like what's going on here? You know. So I just had to like reacclimate myself and like just find the vibes again. And now like we're at Wednesday right now. Now I find it feels like it's back to normal. Like it took me 2 days to like really back in. Like where'd you guys go?
And that's just the energy.
Yeah, the energy is like, and now I know that like when I'm not in the building, like. It's off. You know?
So that works with everybody then. So if everyone was just on a better energy level, the vibe would just be so much better.
It's just like you said, it starts with you.
It always starts with you.
And you mean like a metaphor for the individual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like it's a new day. Started off right. Like what's up, be good.
So before I got into this whole entire realm, getting a little personal here, like I was going through a depression. You know, because I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was in my mid-30s, you know, I felt like, okay, I wasn't living the life I wanted to live, you know, so that's why like I really pushed control and stuff. So
which is pretty common.
Around that age.
Around that age.
So I was like, what am I doing? So I wanted to start today right, you know, so I came up with a mantra that I would say to myself every single morning, you know, before I woke up, before I even opened my eyes. I can't even like remember it now because like it's second nature now. I think it all the time, but it was all along the before I opened my eyes. I go, thank you, Lord, for another day. Only amazing things will happen today. I'm only going to accept love, give away love, and make every decision out of love. You know, so along those lines, and then put away the past and embrace the present and stay hopeful for the future. Create good habits and become their slave, like those kind of things. And I would say those out loud for the first year of all of this, and to the point where like I'd wake up and I'd automatically think it all the time. You know, so by doing that, it helped me like kind of control my emotions, control my thought process. You know, like swerve on all the negativity and stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that if I was in a good state, waking up, I knew the rest of my day was going to be the same way. Waking up strong, I wasn't going to let any bad juju in or anything like that, and I'm just going to spread love regardless. to anybody who's willing to receive it.
I just want to say, I feel like you're pulling all the words out of my head. Like, it's like exactly the things that I would say to my friends, or people that I'm talking to. That's
Does anyone ever ask you if you're Buddhist?
All the time.
Dude, people ask me Buddhist.
I'm like,
But I know we had this conversation, right? You guys grew up Catholic and all that, right? So I do want to touch on that as someone who also grew up Catholic and then now grew up in things like this.
Yeah.
When did that happen for you, or how did that happen for you, that adjustment? Was that something that you kind of just like grew up feeling, or like the mantra thing is something that I had researched or like come up with just over time with the whole
I was
like
seeking something different, and growing up Catholic and growing up in a very religious household, I appreciate that now, because I do have like cousins and friends and stuff who didn't grow up in a home that where God was present all the time, where God was talked about or Jesus was talked about. And and not to knock anybody who doesn't have a belief system, but that just me personally, I knew that I had a relationship with God, but I needed more.
Yeah.
I needed more than just Catholicism, But I not to knock Catholicism because I'm Catholic to the core, I needed something spiritually different for myself. So I started researching like spirituality and mantras and frame of mind and different type of mindsets and being mindful and just trying to do practices to always be a Zen space, And so I came up with mantras. I came up with just like speaking things into the universe and stuff, and just putting it out there.
So you're like pulling all the words out.
Yeah,
like this is stuff I say every day, like speaking into existence.
I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter. Hold on a second. Please hold. I have to do this right now.
Take your time.
So anytime this comes up, I always bring it up. I wrote a letter to the universe, and I wrote this before I even got this job. And even though I'm a man of faith, I pray and all that jazz, I wrote this down, and this is my letter to the universe, guys. I wrote this back in 2015, and this is an example of what I wrote in the letter. I'm sharing with all of you guys. So, for work, basically, I said I want to work for a local business under the tent space umbrella. I want a flexible schedule at a place where the atmosphere is fun, cool, new, and exciting. And I want to make enough money just to pay for the essentials in life. I want to even maybe become work for a part of tent space and maybe even be considered to be a manager. And I want to work in a place where I can dress casual, grow my beard, hear great music, and meet interesting people. And I want this job before summer. So I wrote this in April of 2015, and I ended up getting this job May of 2015. Yeah, so it's been, I'm 2016, sorry, I'm going all off here. But there's a lot of stuff in here that's already came to fruition. Like I wanted to be involved in the art community here, and that's coming to fruition now.
Golden Hour
Project was part of it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Golden Hour Project, but I was sitting at Huddle the first month, and my best friend, one of my best friends, Eric Johansson, who's a talented photographer, he worked for Ten Space as well, was kicking it with me at the front of Huddle 1.0. And I knew that he was dope, he and I connected, and I was like, I thought to myself, I'm gonna try to do something where this whole thing would be cool, if people want to be a part of it. So I was like, hey, Eric, let's start a photography project. And he was just like, all right, cool, what kind of project? I was like, well, what if we do some type of project where we get photos of Stockton and just try to focus on the beauty that the city has, instead of allowing the media to focus on the negative that it has, and putting that out there. Let's try to combat that. And he's like, all right, cool. I go, why don't we try to get photos at sunset? Because sunset's bomb, and he was like, well, the photography term for sunset is golden hour. I was like, well, what do we call a golden hour project? And he was just like, cool, awesome, and then miraculously, serendipitously, my other best friend came in. His name is Joel Munoz, super dope guy. We pitched it to him, and he was just like, that's dope, let's take it a step further. He was like, why don't we try to raise some money so that we can buy camera equipment for the photography classes at all the high schools. I'm like, that's dope. Let's do it. He was like, why don't we create a coffee table book or something? We can sell it, raise money. And I was like, all about it. Let's do this, right? And then I'm the one that brought up, I think a week before I met a guy named Johnny Chin. Maybe it was me or my buddy Eric brought up Johnny Chin. Johnny was part of 1850 Collective. He was getting great shots, candid shots at all stock markets.
He's a dope photographer.
So we invited him over, and we had a meeting, and we're like, hey, this is what we want to do. You guys down? And we're like, yeah, let's just do this. So what we did was we made a list of all of our favorite photographers that were local off Instagram, and we got their email addresses. No, we DM'd all of them. So we came up with kind of like an invitation, like saying, hey, we've been following your work, we're starting this new project, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Meet us at Huddle on this day at this time, and hope to see you there. We sent it out to 10 people, because we wanted to start small. And so the day comes, the first Golden Hour project, I think it was June of 2016, and one by one, people started showing up, camera in hand. We're like, whoa, that person showed up. Whoa, that person showed up. Every single person showed up that we invited. And some of these people have like 23,000 followers, and they're from Stockton. So we're sitting at this table, and I remember it was interesting because everyone was like, it was like kind of like a dick slapping kind of contest, like who has this camera, everyone just putting down like, what's up?
Like this truck.
Yeah, what's up? And so we talked about the project, and yeah, we got some kickback. Like Stockton's ugly. There's no beautiful spots here. Believe me, I've tried. And these are people who are taking beautiful pictures of these great landscapes like Mount Shasta and all these.
So the photographers were the ones that were saying like, oh, there's no beautiful shots.
Yeah, but then I had to be like, okay, so you guys are used to taking all of these shots that are just falling on your lap.
Right.
But there is beauty in this city, and you have to find it. That's your challenge.
Or even create it.
You have to create it.
You can create
100%.
As a photographer, you are creative.
You're a creator, and you're the ones that have the eye. And people are going to trust our eye.
Right.
And we just want to simply see how good is your eye to find the beauty in this city. Crickets, I tell you, and they were just like, all right. So they went out, they scattered, and everyone was all walking around downtown. This is during a time there was nothing happening downtown.
Right.
Cast Iron wasn't open yet, Channel wasn't open yet, Sycamore wasn't open yet. None of these places were cracking yet past 6 p.m. And this is the time we met. So it was sunset, everyone started scattering around downtown Stockton. We said, let's meet up again in about an hour, and then we'll figure out the next day we're going to meet up again. So we get back, we regroup. And everyone's just like, we're like, cool, this is awesome. We get each other's like Instagram handles, we're writing it down so we can all follow each other. And we all go home, and that was it, So I think 10 o'clock rolls around. That's when I slip into bed and I just open up Instagram, and then all of a sudden I start seeing these dope ass photos of downtown Stockton. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm in my bed, and I'm seeing these captions like, I just moved back to Stockton, I didn't know how I was gonna acclimate into the creative community again, I'm so glad I found the Golden Hour project, and I was just like, ooh, I'm like bawling, I'm texting my buddies, I'm like, do you guys see this right now? Like, this is insane, what have we done, And so, it was all the vibes possible. I had no idea how much was gonna, how fast it was gonna take off. The word spread like wildfire, and by that third session, because the second session we had, everyone who came brought like a friend. We didn't even advertise for it, because it was super low key, super underground. And then the third one, we actually advertised, if you're a local photographer, you want to be a part of this. And that session had like 70 photographers that were all from Stockton, all in one room. There's a photo around somewhere of all these photographers just all connecting and meeting each other, and all dispersing out into downtown Stockton. We had access to hella rooftops. Everyone's just going all around and just getting all these photos. I'm like, this is insane, right? So then we're like, I made the decision to create we made a decision to create an Instagram page, and I was like, let's hashtag this, and start a hashtag. We even Googled Golden Hour Project to see if anyone was doing it in the world. No one was doing it, right? And when we first started the hashtag, there was only 12 photos on the hashtag. Now there's almost 2,000 photos on the hashtag, and they're mostly all of Stockton, because there's people that are tagging Golden Hour Project all over the world now, which is kind of insane.
That's crazy.
And I totally was like, at the very beginning, because I'm hella extra, I was like, I want there to be like a Golden Hour Project Asia and Golden Hour Project Russia. Like I was like, that's going on. Asia, Russia is in Asia. Sorry. But I was thinking super big, and the guys were like, okay, Matt, calm down, and just cool your jets. I'm like, guys, we don't understand, this is gonna pick up, right? And so now when you go, you'll see photos from all over the world that people tag Golden Hour Project and other Golden Hour like things and stuff too.
And it started here in Stockton.
Started here in.
You started it.
No, it started it. That's one thing I try to not do. I try not to say I a lot, because it's not me doing all of it, it's we doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's me just trying to keep the ego in check, because it's really easy to give into the ego when you're
I try to do that too.
Yeah, because it's not just me. I can't do this for myself. It's a team of people doing this all the time.
Sure.
And by saying you're kind of just discrediting all the people that have helped you along the way and stuff.
Exactly.
So I'm always saying we. charging us an hour and all that jazz. But yeah, Golden Hour Project was one thing that was started in these walls, which is kind of cool. We also did, in these walls, we did the Sycamore Social Club. Sycamore Social Club was a thing that happened at the Sycamore. The first time we did it, we had like a live band that came up from LA called Jumanji. And it's kind of like hip hop meets like jazz and stuff. And it was the first time they'd ever performed in Stockton. And we got that hookup through Current Personi, who's ran by Josh Washington, who is super dope as well, all the vibes. The reason why I reached out to them is because they were on my Spotify playlist, you know, yeah, because I was listening to like Lush Vibes and just all these dope like playlists on Spotify, and they would come up, I'm like, who is this? And this girl's voice was super sultry, and it was the vibrato, it was just hit on my soul. And then I found out that Josh Washington knew them, and I was like, Josh, you gotta connect me with him, man. And then so I reached out to them, I was like, hi, this is a long shot, but we're having this event, and we would love for you guys to be part of this. We're friends with Josh Washington, we know you guys are cool. And they responded back like, yeah, when? Let us know. I was like, oh my god, like something like that. I found, yeah, right. Imagine like having like someone that you listen to on Spotify all the time that you think you're never gonna meet, and all of a sudden you invite them to come and do a party for you, and they bring down the house, you know, and everyone was like, who the hell were they, you know? Everyone loved them. We set it up super dope. We had artwork, we had vendors, and it was all a vibe. So that was the first one we did, and then about 6 months later we did another one where we focused on one artist by the name of Brendan Jeffrey. He had some work here in Huddle before, and we turned the Sycamore into a huge art gallery, and we had like food trucks outside and stuff. There was about maybe 200 to 300 people that showed up. It was amazing. Brendan was able to sell 80% of his work. He made a couple G's that night. It was insane. And the way we set it up, like everyone was like, this is insane. We have never been to anything like this before, which I thought was pretty cool, you know. So I'm learning. I was like, wow, if I just create stuff that I would want to go to here in Stockton, then that's kind of cool, right? And so after the Sycamore Social Club, that second one was done. I was sitting there. I was like, okay, what kind of art have we not seen in Stockton yet? I was like, erotic art, you know. So I was like, let's just do something, right? So I did my research to see whose aesthetic I like in terms of erotic art. And so I reached out to Natalie Watkins, who's a talented artist, who's actually touring Germany right now, you know, girl. And then another gal named Ali Montez, whose aesthetic was super just out there. She liked working with colored lights and angles and blurriness.
These artists from Stockton?
Stockton, yeah. So I reached out to both of them. I was like, hey guys, I have an idea. Do you guys maybe want to meet up or something so I can tell you my idea, and you guys can decide if you guys want to help me out or not. And so we met here at Huddle, and I was like, this is my idea. I want to do an art show, but I want it to be an erotic art show. I already came up with a name. I want it to be called EASE. And they're like, okay. I go, it's an acronym for Erotic Art and Sound Exhibition. And they're like, okay. And, you know, I was like, I go, yeah, and I kind of want it to be underground too. Like I want to be reminded of those underground parties that I used to go to in San Francisco back in the day. And they're like, okay. I go, what I need you guys' help with is helping me organize this. This is what I want. This is how I want to do it. Let's make a list of all the artists that we would love to be a part of this, and go from there. So they're like, okay, let's figure this out. We didn't want to do some big, huge like media blast or anything like that. So we did a teaser. This is what's going on, and we didn't tell any artists whatsoever. We did this campaign. Everyone was like, what the fuck is this? You know, there was artists like, how do I become a part of it? Like people were asking us. And 2 days later, we sent invitations out to all the artists who wanted to be a part of it, and 100% of them said, yes, I want to be a part of this. And I'm like, okay. So we curated the show, we picked the pieces and stuff, and then my job was actually to like place everything and make sure everything was cool. We had a dope-ass logistics team that helped us like hang the pieces from the rafters, because I wanted to make it seem like everything was floating in there, and we just threw a dope party. It was in one of the warehouses here in downtown Stockton. I thought about everything. We thought about how we can create this hype. If people are driving by, I wanted to think about every little aspect of it all. So if you guys didn't go, there's like this little room that you had to go into first. We let people in 10 at a time, and to go into this room. They paid their $5 to get in. We went to charge $5, and then I did a little disclaimer. I was like, "Welcome to EASE. You know, if you're just to let you know, this is an erotic art show. There'll be some nudity, and if that's uncomfortable to you, then you can leave now." You know, and then after that they would have a little chuckle, and then I would talk about how this is a fundraiser for the Pride Center. 100% of the proceeds are going to be donated to the Pride Center, you know, because they're a pillar of our community. And so we did that 10 at a time. you know, and we had about 400 people show up to the show. We had burlesque dancers, we had like a sultry soloist singer do her thing, we had drag queens perform, we had a DJ, we had like...
Damn, I wish
I know, like, where was I?
It was insane, bro. So everyone who came, they were just like, we've never been to anything like this before, we can't wait to do it again. We were supposed to have another one this past March, but we as a team, we were like, you know, this doesn't feel right. The timing feels off. So we decided to just kind of postpone it, you know, because the vibes didn't feel right, and we were still feeling the residual effects of last year's show. So there's a bunch of artists that made work for the show, so they're going to be doing like their own mini show, which is going to be used as a promotion for the next E's that we do. So you guys stay tuned for more of that stuff. You're going to see that for the next couple of months. And then lastly, I just finished up a project of all the new murals that went up here in downtown Stockton.
Yeah.
So
You were part of all those murals going
yeah,
up.
so there was, there's a new project that Mayor Tubbs is initiating called the Universal Basic Income Project.
Yes.
So the Economic Security Project, which is located both in New York and San Francisco, partnered up with Street Art Anarchy. Street Art Anarchy is a mural kind of crew out of Manhattan. And so they reached out to 10 Space, because 10 Space has a bunch of walls and stuff in downtown. And I was like, all right, let's see what I can do, you know. And so I went out to all these walls and all these buildings here in downtown Stockton that were owned by 10 Space. Of course, I got the 10 Space wall because I work for 10 Space, but there's other walls that 10 Space doesn't own. I had to like get permission, and it was so hard doing that and trying to help with logistics and stuff, but and finding like a local artist to be a part of all of this, because they were originally going to do 3 international artists. And I was like, no, in order for our community to accept this, at least one of these artists needs to be from Stockton.
Right.
So I did a Facebook blast saying, hey, do we know any artists, muralists in Stockton, preferably female? And so everyone was like, Kia Duras. I was like, all right, Kia Duras. So like, I reached out to Kia, her and I met at Impresso. I told her about the project. She loved it. She drew up a sketch. She submitted it to Street Art Anarchy. It got approved. And it was cake from there. And the project took about 2.5 weeks altogether, and now there's 3
I saw
beautiful
those
murals in downtown.
Which
Stockton.
one did she do?
She did the one with the tree. The one that's
Oh, right there.
the orange
You
like
see
this.
off the freeway?
The one that you see off the freeway, that's Jasmine Delafosse.
The tree is the one right
here, yeah, on a
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
to the triangle over here.
Okay.
And the best thing about these murals, one, there's been a bridge that's been gapped between the local art community and the international mural community. You know, we've been put on the map for art now. These 2 guys who came from New Orleans and Paris, France, they have almost millions of followers combined, you know, and you see on their page, they have something on there from Stockton, California, you know, and it's getting like millions of likes and stuff. One of the biggest graffiti pages on Instagram is highlighted Stockton as well as a kind of an epicenter for up-and-coming artists. So we're building this whole momentum now, and it's beautiful. But 2, the second thing that's amazing about this is seeing the people that live in downtown Stockton with their kids walk by these murals, and they're so amazed. You know, they're looking at like, oh wow, look, mommy, that's cool, and their mom's like, yeah, that is cool. You know, like this is really, really cool. Like we need more of this in our community. You know, so just being able to sit back and see those things happening, like it's beautiful. You know, and I ultimately went into this, like I said before, I wanted to stay humble and stuff. Any article that was written about this, when they interviewed me, I was like, do not put my name in here. Because I don't want this to be about me. It's about the artist, it's about the community, it's about the project, it's about the mayor's office, all of that jazz. It has nothing to do with me. I just helped put it on. And they did really well without not putting my name in anything. So I appreciate you talking to record about it. You guys are awesome. But yeah, so because of all of that, I've been asked to do something really big in the community in terms of art, you know, and creating like a strong art community here in Stockton. And I'm still deciding and discerning if that's something that's for me or not. But I've had several people approach me and say, Matt, you're the right person for this. You know, these are people who have been pillars in our art community for decades. You know, and they've seen what I've been doing, and they basically want me to be that gap between the older art scene and the newer art scene that's up and coming, with specificity of street art. You know, because that's something that's has a negative connotation. But these people who are
writers, artists. I mean, these are real artists.
Yeah, people who are writers, people who are muralists, graffiti artists, like they are talented as fuck. You know, and so now because of this, like you guys are gonna see. You may see some magazine covers coming out soon. Some local artists that are coming out. You may see some stuff on some of the freeways soon. Like it's gonna be sick.
Right.
So by the end of this month, there may be something up and coming where I'm gonna be reaching out to the entire art community here in Stockton to try to make something happen.
Okay.
Get something popping.
I wanna throw out an exclusive deal for the app. Okay. So we do have a section called local artists on there.
Yeah.
Now, if you reach out to Matt, and Matt DMs your name, we'll build you a profile for free. So what the Hood app is, basically it's a directory for local businesses, local deals, and local artists. And the app is basically a platform for artists, any kind of artists, visual artists, comedians, writers, whatever your craft is. If you know it could be used in a venue, or you can get hired to do gigs and stuff like that, we can build a profile and put all your social media links on there.
That's really dope.
It's a platform for you guys. Normally we charge $10, but you can save that $10 if you just reach out to Matt, and then he'll refer you to us.
And this is any artist.
We have musicians,
Yeah.
comedians, photographers. We have somebody who makes pancakes.
Oh, that's an art itself.
Almost anything.
Art of
Right?
pancakes. I watched that
Did you
documentary.
see that interview that we did?
No, not yet.
You didn't see the pancake art?
Okay, all right. I need to go back and watch all of them now.
Yeah, for real.
I didn't want to be influenced by the little ones.
But no, we provide that platform for any artists of any kind. So
Yeah, so
I like that idea.
So if you reach out through to Matt, and
You guys know how to find me. Everyone knows how to find me.
Yeah,
It's really easy to find me.
and it's a
put
lifetime
your
profile too. So you're being grandfathered into this. It's a deal, I would say.
Yeah,
It's just
I mean,
another
it's
opportunity for
gonna
people
blow
to
up.
look and be like, oh, I need that for a party
Yeah.
or whatever. And like,
And I know there's a couple of other platforms out, like websites for actual artists that are kind of like, they're a little plain, which I think is okay, because every platform focuses and kind of caters to a different demographic. I go, but if you're an artist out there, like take advantage of this and try to put your name out there as much as possible on a platform, because you don't know what platform people are looking for talent on. So take advantage of this if you can. You never know. Just by you putting it on there, that it's just one step closer to someone who needs you and you need them. So.
that is a good way to put it. I like that. I'm like, oh, I take notes.
Artists. I mean, there's been artists in Stockton forever.
Ever.
I mean, I used to be a graffiti artist.
See, and one of the things I learned too about all this is that there's so many talented people here in Stockton, but there's something to be said about being vulnerable. Like you can create as much dope shit in your garage as possible, but that taking that step to become vulnerable, to put your stuff out there, to be criticized, like that's a big step. So I commend all of you artists out there that have the courage to do so, because it takes courage to do it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it takes passion and drive to actually, and inspiration to create it, but selling it and putting it out there is another thing, and that's something that I hope to help with our community, because ultimately where our community is lacking is the hype to sell art. There was a piece that I read somewhere that was created back in the 1500s, bro, and it was the highest selling art piece ever for $157 million. That's how crazy it was, and it was a new painting of a woman. I mean, like her cakes were like supple, supple cakes, but like it was, but the fact that when that piece was created, maybe in that time frame of just like whatever, but you never know what your piece is going to be to someone 100 years from now,
or even a year from now.
Well, I read this thing and somebody was like, support your local artists because all your famous ones that they're all dead.
That's right. Support someone that's alive. Okay, and I think that's
support your neighbors.
Support your neighbor.
Friends.
And that ties into
support your hood.
Support your hood. Yeah. That brings me back to the gal that's on the mural that's facing the freeway. Her name is Jasmine Delphos, Edison grad. Youth advocate, youth empowerer. is that a word, empower her? She does everything that she can to empower the youth in troubled areas like the South Side, Southeast Side, and I think it's monumental. We got some feedback saying why is her face up there before like Dolores Huerta or other people that have been pivotal in our community. I go, but why not honor people that are alive now?
Yeah.
You know, and one of the most beautiful things that Jasmine has done is that wall is directly adjacent to a schoolyard that's part of Team Charter. So imagine being a kid and you have a visitor that is the girl that's painted on the wall in your playground. You know, and you're like, wait, I know you. You're on the wall outside. You know, and then she talks about her story, and then they love her, and the residual effects of that, like what those kids are gonna talk about. Hey, mom, I got to meet that girl.
But they grow up.
But I met her when I was in 5th grade. You know, like she was awesome. You know, now this is what she's doing in the community now. And I think it's important to honor the people that are doing great things in our community now, and I think it's important to support the artists that are creating work now, because it may not, because it was this newly created, it may not be worth anything maybe to the whole entire world now in this moment, but over time it will. You know, why not get it at a cheap price? Get it for the jug, you know, right now, before you can't afford it anymore because it's going to be $1 bajillion million, you know. Right. So yeah, so if you're listening to this and if you've ever thought buying art, if you've never attended an art show before, go and support the art community. There's a bunch of different platforms out there that post about the local art shows that are going on. Follow the 1850 Collective, follow Art Expressions, follow the Goodwin Gallery, follow the Reynolds Gallery on the UOP campus, follow the gallery that's on the Delta campus. Oh man, I can't even think about the name right now. But follow the gallery on the Delta campus. Follow Huddle, you can follow me.
I was going to say, just reach out to this guy. He'll send it all to you, because that's probably what I'm going to do.
Follow 10 Space, follow all the local graffiti artists, Writers Culture. They hook it up for all you writers out there that are out there creating work throughout the city. Just find out who's active in the community now and support them.
Yeah, we'll get that list. I'll get that list from Matt, and then we'll post it on our page.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and which is why a big reason why I wanted you to be here is because I know you're well embedded with the art culture here in Stockton, and all we're trying to do is just enhance that, and make it grow, because I know there is a lot of young talented artists out there that they're not putting their stuff out, and they're not being discovered like they should be. You know what I mean? And I think everyone in Stockton should appreciate those artists that are here in Stockton, and
because they're talented people out here.
And you never know. Pretty soon they might be starting their own business, you know. And just like Alex, Alex Swalto, born and raised in Stockton. You know,
he's actually born in Germany, raised in Stockton.
Okay. Military. Yeah. So but he grew up in Stockton. I went to high school with him too, and he left and went to one of the most elite art colleges, Academy of Arts. And
he did that, and he did that as a later adult too.
Right.
You know, so he was creating art. He was a former b-boy, all that.
Right.
You know, so he's been representing art for Stockton for a very long time, and has created a signature for himself, and has a super amount of followers on social media. And anything he does, like people follow.
So it's dope.
One of the coolest things I got to do with Alex was help curate a show that he did for a new pop-up in Long Beach. It was a new consignment store called oh man, I totally forgot the name of it. Dang it. I'm gonna remember it and put it in the comments. But yeah, so going down there and meeting people who already knew Alex as Swollen Finger, didn't even know his real name. You know, like, I've been a fan of you forever. I was like, say this. Like, what's going on here? Like, this is insane that you have fans here. And it was cool just to see his world, you know, and to see like how his fans and people coming up to him and buying all of his, like selling, like buying him out of everything. I'm like, and commissioning him for more work. And I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram, but there's a guy in Israel, in Tel Aviv, who curated a show for him in Israel, and literally like did this huge show on 420. And is one of Alex's biggest fans. So Alex is here, you know, having a baby, like doing this thing, you know, and just running the shop and stuff. And he has this guy curating an art show for him across the world. You know, and I'm like, okay, that's bars right there. Like, I can't get over that.
And see, he's a business owner, and he came back to Stockton.
Yeah.
open a business here in Stockton, downtown.
Infinite 209, check them out. He and Jay, both my boys, it's located on Weber Avenue in the CW40 building. It's buy-sell trade. You can also get shirts made there as well on the jug. But yeah, like if you're looking for that coveted polo jacket that was made in the early '90s, they're probably gonna have it. You know, check them out on Instagram as well. Everything is vintage there: t-shirts, hats. Jackets.
It's a dope shop.
Yeah, it's for guys and girls and even kids as well. So they find everything. They don't have all the heat in the store because a lot of it's super expensive. But just check their Instagram. You can like, hey, I want this, and you can make an appointment and go check it out, try it on and stuff, and then you pay for it right then and there if it works for you. But yeah, this is a dope example of someone who's local, who's actually quote unquote made it. You know, and they were doing it just by doing what they love. You know,
exactly.
If I can give any advice to the artists who are watching this here in Stockton, it's just overcome your fear. You know, there's just nothing to be afraid of. You know, if someone has something negative to say about their work, that says more about them than it does your work. You know,
we're all just making it up as we go.
We're all just making it up. We're faking it till we're making it. Like,
exactly.
You know, I mean, yeah, like some of us have visions and stuff, but it's more like trial and error. It's like, okay, this vision looks dope. You know, let's try this way. Oh, it doesn't work. All right, I'm gonna go this way now. You know, we're all just trying to stick and move. You have to start from somewhere, and you're making that internal choice to say, okay, this may not be the smartest thing to do right now, but I'm gonna try it anyway, so I can say that I tried it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's all about execution.
Yeah,
it's always about execution.
And a lot of people have ideas. You know, a lot of people have ideas, and not a lot of people are willing to put the work in to see those dreams come to fruition.
Exactly.
You know, because of whatever's holding them back. You know, and usually it's just an excuse, and usually the biggest excuse is fear. You know, because you're afraid of
Failure.
Yeah.
You know?
It
could be anything. People talking shit about me.
The light bulb, Facebook, even Huddle. It all started from somewhere, and it can just like.
From an idea.
Yeah, it all
from an
kind
idea.
of came from a seed.
Yeah, the only
They just
successful
nurture it,
ideas are the ones that are executed.
Well, no, we're just being all the haters right now. Like, there's all the cliches and stuff, but yeah. But to all you artists out there, just put yourself out there. You never know what's going to happen. And you got people like me and people in this room and a whole entire community of artists that have already been out there already that are going to support you and make sure you don't fall.
For sure, 100% support. Yeah, I mean, I know our audience, they're all supporters of Hood, and Hood is all supporters of everything in the Hood.
Yeah.
And which is why we started this podcast, so that we can talk to people that are embedded in our culture, just like Matt and all the other artists and business owners that we had on previously and in the future. And we want to keep having these podcasts with new business owners and new artists, and we want that to keep growing and growing every day.
I would love to partner with you in the future, and maybe you guys can get some local artists on here and they can talk about their story, you know, why they create art.
I already made a note. I'm like, talk to Matt later. Talk to Matt later.
Hey, Alex Bowenfinger, you're gonna be on here pretty soon.
Okay.
I'm gonna get him on here.
You know, his schedule's super packed right now, but if you guys do this like on a weekend probably.
Well, I know with the new baby and all.
Yeah, it's a lot for him, but he's my hero.
He's happy.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. So
doing his thing.
yeah, this has been great, guys.
Cool, man.
Really cool.
I just want to say, I really appreciate you.
Likewise.
I remember before the interview, I was like, I just want to sit and talk to you. That's all. I don't even want to.
If anyone ever wants to do that, you guys know how to find me. There's people
at the
that do
huddle.
that.
Come to the huddle.
There's people that do that. They'll like, Matt, you have some time on it, just come up. I'm like, yeah, come up real quick. And then I always give people at least an hour of my time. He's like, all right, I'll give you an hour. Let's see what we can rap about in an hour. And usually it's either a partnership or it's like, okay, I know I'm never gonna work with you again. You know, like, but like that's what I learned in that 1 hour. But I was like, I have an hour to spare for anybody, you know, and maybe sometimes that hour turns into 2 or 3 or a project that we work on, like golden hour project or anything. So. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, the only question that came from the audience, but I mean, there's a lot going on Instagram, a lot of shout outs from a lot of the fans, you know, because you guys are talking a lot about the local artists. Again, shout out to Ches, because she was once again on top of tagging the local artists that you were mentioning in here too, which is good.
Nice.
And then huge shout out to, let's see. Cal. Coach Cal was asking if you know of Heavy Crown's next I guess next move. I wrote it down here.
Heavy Crown's next move?
New project. Sorry. What's to come from Heavy Crown? I guess that's what
Heavy
they're
Crown
asking.
Media is a monster. Those dudes, man, they
I love how you say that. Because that's how I see it too.
gosh, like I appreciate them so much. Like they're just Stockton. You know, they encompass Stockton. They have that grit. You know, they are fearless, and anything they touch turns to gold. They have back-to-back projects. They're backed up for weeks. You know, they grind like a mug. They have regular jobs as well. This is literally a side project for them. You know, for the fact that they're able to work a full-time job and still do this on the side and deliver on and hit their deadlines and stuff, the epitome of grinding, you know, and it wouldn't be my platform to let the audience know what their next move is, because like me, they grind on the low but launch on the high. You know, we don't try to hype anything up. You know, it's not like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm working on this project right now. It's about to drop. Man, watch out. Man, it's going to be some heated. No, it's not like that. It's just like, hey, what you been doing? Say, yeah, I've been busy. And all of a sudden, boom, this is a project. I don't care. You're just going to have to deal with it. You know, like, and people are like, you didn't prepare me for this. You know, oh my gosh, there was no hype. It's just you just said, drop the dopeness on me.
Way to lay it on.
Yeah, like, I thank you. Yeah. So, and we just say, you're welcome. You know, so that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, big shout out to Heavy Crown.
Heavy Crown, you guys are all the vibes. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. If you anyone is welcome just to come to Huddle, take a tour, take a look at all the decals that are on the walls here, on all the doors here in the space on all 3 floors. We got the Sanctuary, which is ran by a local artist by the name of Steve Spiffler. So for those of you who needed to lay down some tracks or create some beats, preferably the ones that are in high school who want to learn the back end of music, you can schedule a session with him.
That's the music production school, right?
Yeah, that's on the 4th floor. And Steve Spiffler, he's performed on many platforms. He's been retweeted and mentioned on some very huge hip hop outlets on Twitter. He's making a huge name for himself, which is all the vibes, and that's happening here
That's
in our
because
city.
he reached out to me on Instagram too. So yes, I know I just got back to him today.
Yeah,
so
see?
yeah,
See?
we will keep
Let's
communicating.
Keep doing it. And then another example, we have lawyers in here too. We have immigration lawyers, we have accidental law in here. Everything that's happening in Southeast, in South Stockton with Reinvent Stockton and Reinvent South Stockton, all of those vibes are all happening in this building as well. We got, what else we got in here? We have financing, we have real estate.
We got somebody doing lashes.
We got lashes in here.
like makeup.
Yeah, watch out for Lavish Lounge. Marjorie Nazarino and her team, they're going to be launching something soon, so stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen who that sees you. What else is in the building? CPR certification. So in the event, if you're looking to get your CPR, to get certified or renew your certification for the jug on the low, for the low cost, come to Huddle and partner up with CPR Cert Pros, Aaron and Sinead Gilbreth.
Aaron also has A1+1.
A1+1, which is kind of like a
mentorship,
like, a life coach, which is super dope too. What else we got in the building? We got TFA in the building, Teach for America. So for you teachers out there who are looking to travel or maybe get another position up in the United States, partner up with TFA, their office in the building. For those of you who are trying to get into the DREAM Act kind of realm, we have the SJIYC, which is the Sound King Immigrant Youth Council, that's in the building as well. If you'd like to volunteer and be a part of all of those vibes, you're more than welcome to. We also have micro lending in the space too. We have Mark Crockett, who runs Stockton Impact Corps. So for all you small businesses out there who are looking for a small micro loan, reach out to him. And that's just an example of all the places that are in here right now. But check it out. If you have any questions, you can email me, you can Facebook me, you can sign to my DMs, you can Pinterest me, anything. Like I don't care. Just you can find me.
Just get in contact.
Yeah,
just make the move. Take action.
Get in contact with Hood to try to get a hold of me as well. I make time for everybody.
Awesome.
I do have one personal question. I don't know if you guys, because I personally feel the passion every time you're around. Like I feel the energy and passion that you have in this room right now. So for me, I'm just curious as to what you see in the next year for Huddle Cowork and even the next 5 years, next 10 years.
Okay, so I think about this every single day. Okay, because hope for the future is what keeps me going.
It's the whole speaking into existence.
Yeah, speaking into existence.
Exactly.
Because if I got this far for hoping for it, you know, and I'm seeing the hope I had a year and a half ago, and I'm actually living it. You know, I hoped that this whole place would be filled. As it would feel, right?
Here we are.
So, yeah, literally are. And I hoped like everything was happening downtown, and it is. And I hope to be part of the art community, and I am. But now the hope is to see Huddle become this entity where it becomes a revolving door. If you're a small business, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, a startup, I want Huddle to be that place to where you can come and know you can get the tools that you need in order to be successful and to be able to scale your business. As far as outside of Huddle's walls in downtown Stockton, and these are facts, over the next year and a half, over the next 18 months, our downtown landscape is going to change dramatically through the Open Window Project.
Nice.
We've already started a project, the Medici Artist Lofts, which is in the Medical Dental Tower. Those are going to be artist lofts that are going to be geared towards market rate housing and low-income housing, and the low-income housing is going to be geared towards artists specifically.
Nice.
It's going to be all the vibes. They're renovating right now. You'll see about 3 or 4 new living complexes go up all within this block over here with all commercial space at the bottom.
Nice.
You'll start seeing community gardens. You'll start seeing new restaurants go up, and this will all happen before Mayor Tubbs is out of office, which I thought this is going to be pretty dope. So by one of the things I always mention, and this is something I tell anybody who I come in contact with, is that we should be proud to be Stocktonians right now. You know, during this time, during this presidential administration, to be specific. You know, because we're worried about what's going on at a local level. You know, we're just focusing on ourselves. We're not worrying about what's happening at an international level. Yeah, it's a shit show up there. You know, but 2-3 years from now, if Trump is still in office, people are going to be like, okay, so who's thriving in all of this, right? They're going to look, they're going to take a list of like, okay, this city's doing good, this city's doing good. Stockton's going to be on that list. We're definitely going to be a beacon of hope in the future when the rest of the country's going to be like, okay, we're tired of this. Because how the country feels right now is how we've always felt as Stocktonians for the past 10-15 years.
Right.
You know, where we feel like we're at the bottom. Now the rest of the country feels like they're at the bottom. You know, so the reason why we're propelling forward is because we realize, okay, we've had the power all the time. You know, let's just focus on ourselves and our own community and our own having each other's back and possibly make partnership with people internationally. You know, to build ourselves up, to level ourselves up. You know, because no one has been doing it for us this whole entire time. Now we're finally realizing, okay, this has to take. We gotta do it. Yeah, you know, exactly. So let's create some cool shit.
It's really,
it's
really up to us.
Starts with us.
Starts with us.
You.
Starts with you.
Exactly.
Starts with us. So Stockton, we are going to be a beacon of hope for the rest of the nation. You know, because people are going to be like, okay, so what have they done differently? How come they're surviving this presidential administration? And the answer is because we don't give a shit. You know, we're just going to do.
We're taking care of each other.
We're taking care of each other. It's
other.
all about community. It's at a local level. You know, vote in a mayor that you guys love and who has a passion for the city, has a vision for the city, and you just put out these fires one by one. Imagine if every city in the United States concentrated on themselves, you know, and kind of built up their own communities.
Right.
You know, how stronger of a nation that would be, right? And so. Yeah, that's kind of my spiel in terms of like what's happening, what I see for Huddle, what I see for Stockton, and what I see for the rest of the nation.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see significant change in our city, you really have to support local businesses.
Yeah.
You really do. It matters. I want to do it for my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my grandkids for the future. And I want a thriving city just like Matt does too, and everyone else living here.
Yeah.
I tell Brian all the time, I do this for the difference that it's gonna make.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And as a citizen of this community, of this city, like we won't do better unless you want it to do better.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of successful people that live in Stockton. There's a lot of beautiful places here in Stockton, you know, but there are some troubled areas that are needing some attention. And then there's organizations that are doing that. Because regardless of how much you bought your home for, or what kind of area, how many HOA fees that you pay for, your city is only as good as your lowest income areas, you know?
Right,
It's this lowest income areas where all the crime is happening, so it's bringing your property value down.
Right.
You know, so if you're supporting the change and you're supporting the effort to try to bring up the less fortunate in your own city, then imagine if no one has to suffer in your own city, you know, and it's all about having each other's back.
I do also want to add real quick, I have ideas for I think, the city. So, like I said, you will be hearing from me. We are going to keep talking because I have this huge idea, and I feel like if there's anybody who can help, make this into reality.
I will definitely nudge you in the right direction. There you go.
It's going to be so
there
cool.
you go.
I love it.
No, this has been great. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I love what you guys are doing. To be able to be in a position to see where Big Card has gone and how adding Hood to it, and the team that you brought on, and figuring out creative ways to get the community involved. I think it's been great, and it's working for you. People hear about it, and you're just an example not only of what the Entrepreneur Lab can do, what being in a co-working space can do, but what Stocktonians are capable of doing. You've had to adhere adversity and a lot of challenges. You're a dad, you're married, you have kids, So you're setting an example for dads out there, so there's a lot of slashes here, and I commend your team. When people are dialing up, I always hear people I'm here for the hood, I'm here for the hood. I don't know how many times a day I'm like, all right, third floor.
That's you always
It's you guys and Lavish Lounge, Reinvent, this floor is popping, and a lot of the people who come to the building come to this floor, and you guys are one of those. So I just want to commend you on that.
Thanks. I mean, I couldn't have done it without my team for sure.
That's right.
Sure.
And I'm glad you guys are making it happen. I'm excited to see where Hood is and how it evolves within all this revitalization. I think your timing was impeccable.
Yes.
And you're jumping on the ball. You jump on the ball in the right time. It's something new, it's fun, it's innovative, and people are always looking for different creative ways to get their work out there, especially for entrepreneurs, startups, freelancers. So good on you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, tune in Friday 9 a.m.-ish. We will have another show of What's Good in the Hood.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Wait, shut up, ayy. On my mama, I can't make shit up, ayy. If I ain't a real boy, what you call it? I don't think you want no problems. Wait, shut up, ayy. On my mama, I can't make shit up, ayy. If I ain't a